252.
Okay, for all the news and reviews and pop culture that's right to type, 252 top stories.
Margot Kidder, who found fame as Lois Lane in the 1978 film Superman, died at her home in Montana. She was 69 years old.
The sexiest age.
If you gotta go, go with a smile.
Rest in peace,
Yeah,
Lois Lane.
I remember.
That's my Lois.
Yeah,
That's my
about
Lois. I mean, there was a couple before her, but
yeah, but that's really
that's
Christopher Reeve is our Superman. Margot Kidder is our Lois Lane. I remember how upset I was when I found out that she was hiding in someone's backyard. Remember they had found her.
Yeah,
she was
they
like
made fun of her on Family Guy too.
Oh yeah, it was. She faced a lot of ridicule for that.
You know what? And there was the other thing when I found out that she had passed it, she was 69, and I thought back, all right, so 78, so she was only like 20 something when she made that movie.
Yeah,
but they dressed her older to be older.
Yeah.
So even when I look back at it, I look at her like in her early to mid 30s.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
She was only supposed to be 28 years old anyway, so she just looked old because we were 5 and 6 years old.
Well, she was like 20, 21 or something.
Yeah, she was probably about 20.
But I say they did kind of age her a little bit.
Yeah.
And she had that raspy voice.
Yeah,
in
all them
Superman.
The raspy voice, all them Paul Malls.
Paul Malls, Clark, where's my freshly squeezed orange juice?
Yeah, it's mental illness to me is sad. It's not funny.
29.
And whatever she went through, she played a good Lois Lane.
You're being serious.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but she didn't.
That's,
she didn't suffer from the mental illness. I mean, her career was already over.
Yeah.
She just. I mean, she wasn't making any movies anymore. I don't
Well,
think.
still,
I
she could have
think
been
that was
suffering in silence.
partly due to the mental illness, or like a Sean Young thing. It's like you don't get roles because you're nuts, and you're nuts because you don't have any roles, and it just rolls on, you know?
Yeah. Oh, well, she will be missed.
Yeah, that was a hell of a eulogy. But anyway, next story.
Director Spike Lee received a 6-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival after the premiere of his new drama, Black Klansman. The movie, which tells the true story of an undercover African-American detective, John David Washington.
Denzel Washington's son.
Oh, did not know that. Yeah. And his Jewish partner, Adam Driver, who team up to infiltrate. Han Solo's son. Team up to infiltrate Ku Klux Klan in 1979.
Donald Trump's son.
It's incredibly timely. It even ends up with footage of Donald Trump refusing to condemn the actions of white nationalists during the deadly 2017 Charlottesville riot.
Well, there were good people on both sides.
Yeah.
We're laughing at our own jokes.
There are a lot of things to the current president throughout Black Klansman. One KKK member talks about embracing an America First policy, and the film makes parallels between the rise of Trump and the political ambitions of former Grand Wizard David Duke, played the wide-eyed malevolence by that 70s show's Topher Grace.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I hope he does better than he did Venom.
He looks good. He actually looks good.
You can't do no worse than that.
Yeah, he looks really good in that trailer.
Yeah. All kidding aside, I mean, this is one of those stories that, you kind of get a little, you kind of get excited to see it, on both sides, because, I mean, it's part of our, not just our history, it's part of our recent history. I mean, we were all breathing air when this was going down.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And growing up in the 80s, we were still living with the ramifications of these events that happened in the mid to late 60s, throughout the 70s. We felt it all in the 80s, and then started coming around in the 90s. The clouds started to part. Everything started feeling good until like a year and a half ago when it was like, oh man, thing went backwards.
Yeah, it sounds like a radio stinger. All the racism from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. And the beat goes on. Well,
unfortunately,
in lighter news, the Fairfield man accused of torturing his children had a history of domestic violence and a knack for isolating his family from relatives and neighbors. Court records and interviews show. Name-checking Jonathan Allen, 29, was known to his neighbors as an enigmatic loner but police records paint a picture of a man who has routinely threatened the lives of his wife and children. That's how you keep him in check.
I mean, when you paint a picture, I mean, I hate to be that guy that's going to judge a book by a cover, but anyone who has a face tattoo,
don't trust him.
you know,
Mike Tyson, don't trust him.
I mean, face tattoos usually mean bad business.
Well, it means don't hire me unless I'm a tattoo artist, which I'm
The
getting
house
to.
that they were showing the pictures of, I'm like, damn, that looks a lot like my old bathroom, other than the fact that it's covered in dog shit, you know.
Oh, you were thinking
It
it's
was like the same neighborhood.
or Daphne or something like that.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck, are they over there like Marigold, Daphne in the flower area or what?
It looked like Sassoon to me, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I couldn't. It definitely
That's a
looked like
coping mechanism. Like that didn't happen here. That would happen there.
it definitely looked like a house that was made in the 70s or 80s, but that's not very helpful. So this week's review: Deadpool 2, wisecracking mercenary Deadpool, the merc with the mouth, meets Russell, an angry teenage mutant who lives at an orphanage.
Not a turtle.
When Russell becomes target of Cable, a genetically enhanced soldier from the future, Deadpool realizes that he'll need some help saving the boy from a superior enemy. He soon joins forces with Bedlam, Shatterstar, Domino, and other powerful mutants to protect young Russell from Cable and his advanced weaponry. Now,
should we even talk about it now, or should we wait?
Let's talk about it now. I want to talk about Deadpool, and I want to talk about Deadpool right now. Starting off the top, very beginning, it let you know this was not your mother's Deadpool.
Yeah, it was kind of my dad's Deadpool.
Yeah,
not my mother's. Yeah.
Opening scene, he immediately made nods already to the Logan movie.
Logan, Passion of the Christ.
Yeah,
he referenced 007 in the intro. And I don't know, man. I think he's going way. It seemed meta until the very moment the movie came out. You know what I mean?
it was. I thought it was an interesting campaign that they did. You know, the way Deadpool was everywhere. And when you look at schedule wise, I mean, you're sandwiched in between Infinity Wars and Star Wars Solo. Now, even if you're not familiar with Solo or the guy who's playing Han Solo, it's a Star Wars movie. It's a big Disney movie, and Fox was like right in the middle of a FU sandwich. And if you're gonna put anybody out there to be in the middle and try to make some money, bet on Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool. So opening up at the table first, what was your any scene that pops out to you right out the gate?
You know what? I was really impressed with the big guy. No spoiler.
No, spoil it. Spoil it.
Spoil it. The Juggernaut.
Yeah, okay, yeah. About time at this point, if you haven't seen the movie, about time this thing airs.
Right, we're spoiling it.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the Juggernaut, but I was also, I think, a little let down on how they eat him. I think Juggernaut's a little too tough to fall for the attacks.
I agree. I agree with you. And I will say, well, first of all, I'm going to start off by saying I absolutely love Deadpool. You know, I enjoyed that movie from beginning to end. With that being said, there were definitely plot holes and parts where the story dropped. And I thought, for me, as an audience member watching it, right when I was thinking, all right, this is sounding a little shaky, Deadpool was like, oh, God, that's just lazy writing. And that just put a smile to my face because it's literally right when I thought about it, I was like, God, that's weak. And he was like, God, that's weak.
Yeah.
But it was great. Now, did anybody feel like Vanessa was death? Like that kind of storyline? You know, there's a in the Deadpool comic books, there's a storyline where Deadpool falls in love with Death, and of course, Death. Well, I guess Thanos is also in love with
Thanos. That's the original.
That's why you got the
Deadpool.
And then there's a part where he calls Cable Thanos, and I thought that was just great.
Yeah, that was hilarious, man.
It's triple meta. It's like
it was triple meta.
The most fourth wall breaking thing ever, I think, which is kind of in line with Deadpool in the comics, so it worked. Very comic book.
He does that a lot. He even did that, referring to himself as Green Lantern in the first one.
Oh yeah, but it was subtle.
different
It was
franchise,
subtle
yeah.
in the.
Yeah.
He just said, "I just don't want the suit to be
Green.
or animated,"
Yeah.
and that was just. But this one was definitely
Yes.
like if you stayed till the end.
Oh yeah.
When Ryan Reynolds was like, "Here you go,
Hey.
you finally made it with the big boys," and he had the script for Green Lantern, and then Deadpool assassinated him.
Hilarious.
I mean,
Did you
that
stay
was
till
like,
the very, very end, like after the last.
I did not. I think I missed the very last thing.
I stayed to the very, very end. There was nothing.
Yeah, there was supposed to be something, and then preview audiences got something, and foreign audiences got something. They removed it for America because people were shocked. You know, the missing end scene was Deadpool going back in time and killing baby Hitler in the crib.
oh, wow, we missed that one.
Yeah.
They said
Oh, yeah,
that's
I
too
did
extreme
watch
for
the
American
movie.
audiences.
Too hot for America.
Yeah.
I can understand them not doing that in China, but not here. They always heavily edit everything when it goes to China. But
True
you know,
that.
they get enough of it.
Show Deadpool in China? Probably not. Yeah.
You know,
I think they probably what do you call it? Probably didn't get a wide release, but they probably got a limited release.
It's probably not released yet over there.
Oh no, it probably. I don't think it
Until the end of this
until
month.
like next week or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. The week after.
now it can't be a retro nerd show unless we shit on DC a little bit. Sorry, John. Even this, and I'm using this as a shot, and even Deadpool took a shot at DC in the movie. You're so dark.
Yeah.
You're a DC character. I mean, come on. The CGI Juggernaut. Come on, man. He was better than the CGI. Who was the villain from the Justice League?
Steppenwolf.
Come
Steppenwolf.
on,
Yeah.
man.
Steppenwolf.
Don't do that
yeah.
to me, yo.
Yeah.
No, they
Come
hate
on.
on Justice League. It's a regular
Oh.
theme.
It's not that we hate on Justice League.
If
it's
they would
just
make better
not
movies,
good.
we wouldn't hate on it.
Now,
But why do people give a knock on Steppenwolf? He was tight to me. I don't really see that. I don't think that was bad CGI at all.
it looked like a video game character. He didn't look like a real person.
I could see the person who played him in his
He
face.
did not look like a real person.
I don't
He
know.
looked like a cartoon.
Well, look, I'm glad that we have other
in a
opinions
live action
on
movie.
the DC.
I do want to
universe.
say one thing for DC. I'm gonna give a nod to DC. Actually, I give a nod to Will Arnett. Taking a page out of the Deadpool playbook, Will Arnett clapped back to Deadpool talking about, "Oh, you're all dark on the DC," because he was speaking as Deathstroke. Will Arnett is playing Deathstroke in the Teen Titans movie.
Will Arnett?
Will Arnett.
Funny ass Will Arnett?
Well, it's
Yeah.
it's a comedy. It's a cartoon.
Wow.
Teen-
Oh,
like
the
Teen
Teen
Titans
Titans
Go.
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 Okay, got you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He's got the Lego Batman.
Will
Get
Arnett.
excited. I thought
Yeah,
there was
Will.
a
Yeah,
shoot.
Will Arnett is playing. He's voicing.
Yeah.
Deathstroke in the Teen Titans Go. So he was saying Deadpool is nothing but a copycat of me. I came out full. My name is Slade Wilson. His name is Wade Wilson. I was first. He was like this, and he clapped back on Deadpool, but he said, "But everybody else, whatever. Go see the Deadpool movie, and then come see the real," and then go. And I was like, "Way to
pretty
go!" Because he has been taking it in the ass by Marvel for years.
They
now.
have no choice.
Well,
I still don't agree with that. The Batman trilogy was excellent.
All right,
one?
listen.
The newest
DC
trilogy.
has lame villains. That's their problem.
Yeah.
DC has lame villains. Y'all came up with some better villains, and you might
actually, DC has better villains. DC has the better backstory. Whatever happens between the page and what they put on the screen kills it.
That's what the problem is.
Kills
I
it.
guess so.
DC has a rich history, years and years and years of stuff that they got a treasure chest so deep you could pull out nuggets. Again, DC animated, they kill it every time.
They do.
Well, that's part of the problem with the movies.
That's
Is
kind
like
of
the Marvel movies will pull from a storyline and another storyline and this and that, whereas DC seems intent on retelling the origins over and over and over every time.
Over and over. How many times are we going to see Batman's origin? And how many movies?
I think we're going to see it.
Yeah.
How many movies
least
are we going to
one.
At
see?
least 10 more.
How many movies are we going to see his parents die?
At least 10 more.
Every fucking Batman movie.
We did see the same thing with Spider-Man, though. They
but-
did Spider-Man.
Not in
No,
Homecoming.
not in Homecoming.
Not this
Yeah,
time for the
you're-
third time. I
you're-
mean, dang, it's like
Homecoming.
Homecoming?
Yeah, you
Uh-huh.
guys complaining about Justice League, particularly Steppenwolf.
he was tight.
They didn't even have a chance to get into his background yet. You
Because
didn't know
they
that
rushed
that's
the
Dark
movie.
Side's uncle.
Oh,
That's
wow.
who Steppenwolf is.
Yeah.
Who cares?
And we didn't.
They didn't make me care about him. That's the problem.
Yeah. All right. How about
I
that?
thought
Okay.
Steppenwolf was cold.
Wait, and I feel like we're not doing Deadpool his due diligence right now, but whatever. I'm gonna go with this. I felt like they gave us enough of a backstory in Thanos that I sympathize with Thanos.
Yeah, too bad that's not Thanos from the comics. He could care less about thinning the herd. He killed half the population to impress his
And
girlfriend,
that's why sometimes
Lady Death.
That's
Sometimes
why
you have to go off of the page.
you have to take the premise of a story and then you still have to make it a cinema for the masses.
So in that case, then it's really not the directors or producers. We're going after the screenwriters because those are the ones that are transitioning the story to the screen.
Well, yes and no. Yes, you're right with the screenwriters because they're adapting a comic book to the screen.
Right.
However, it's still the job of the director to make sure everything fits the right the right vision. Because
But it starts with the screenwriter though. You can't have a screenwriter and expect the director to do.
Well, I mean, if the screenwriting is horrible, the film's not getting.
And therein lies the problem with DC movies. Screenwriting sucks.
No,
Sucks.
I don't think the
It's all bad.
screenwriting sucks.
With the
so
exception
I
of
think-
Wonder Woman, stinker after stinker.
Oh, so the Christian
we're
Bale
starting-
Batmans
we're
were all
starting
horrible.
after
No.
We're starting after
no,
that.
I would have-
was tight.
I would have to
No,
say.
that's what I'm
I would have to
saying.
say
We're starting after that.
the
You can't
Nolan,
count
the
that.
Nolan
No,
Batman.
Nolan
come
era
on.
doesn't count.
hold on.
Okay, I'm starting after Iron Man. In the Marvel movies, you can't start after they made three.
They're not the same
quality
universe.
films. Because they're not locked into
they
this
rebooted.
crazy dogma of the CU. The Marvel's doing so. These X-Men movies don't count, but please go see them.
Well, it's
Those suck
that's
too.
because of legalese with selling off the rights to certain things.
That's
and having
right.
Certain things.
But I mean, they straight up said they don't count as far as the continuity is concerned because this Batman is not that Batman. I mean, those
Right.
That's what I'm saying. If
But it is.
if Christian
it is,
Bale's,
but is it
if Christian
sometimes?
Bale's Batman was in that universe, they would have a solid B right now. DC would.
You know, I like the fact that they can say, hey, we can make a really good movie about Batman, and we're not going to do the, it's got to be part of this universe of it, but not those upcoming movies, but these upcoming movies. Oh, no, you can't do this yet or do that. They say, hey, we got a good idea for a movie. They made a good movie. And then you're like, okay, everything but those good movies proves my point that DC sucks.
right.
You know, that's ridiculous.
They
That's
should-
let me cut out all the good
starting-
movies Marvel.
Well, all right,
I
look.
will say, except for those.
Superman 2 is one of my favorite movies. Not even comic
I
book
said, okay,
movies.
it's not in the
and
dog
Superman. Well, I'm just saying. I'm just trying to
It's okay.
answer your point that hey, they're not part of this universe either. But actually, they kind of are, huh? The Superman movies, they're kind of a part of it. But even if they
Not
weren't,
really.
I would say that DC as a whole not suck. DC currently trying to start this new dark shit they're doing. It ain't working. Reboot it.
Then the beauty is they can because they don't have this ironclad MCU they have to follow.
Well, they should start doing DC movies more like Bond movies, like have Batman in this adventure this year and Superman in this adventure next year, and don't have to tell this ongoing
I like
arc.
that
Just
That's a
bring
good
out
idea.
a 2-hour story.
I would like that.
Well, I think they just need to stop focusing on the Trinity, which is Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. You guys have a shit ton of more characters, cool characters. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys. I mean,
Definitely.
villains.
I was hoping
you
for the
open
best
your
for
eyes.
Suicide Squad, but they threw out that stinky pile of.
They just
Stink.
kind of relied
It
on
wasn't
Harley
that bad. It
Quinn
was-
and Will Smith to save the
well,
movie.
they put their money in their stars, and their stars delivered. I'm not gonna. You look at that movie, you can't say it's because of Will Smith's performance or Margot Robbie's performance was bad. They did a good job.
Will Smith was kind of soft.
And bringing
He
it
did.
back
I
to
thought he
that.
stole the movie.
I thought he did it.
Kinda soft.
He did it.
He was serviceable, but he wasn't believable. And I'll bring it right back around.
I
You
disagree.
had
Yeah, I disagree.
current Ryan Reynolds as a DC hero, and he couldn't save a movie either. So I mean, DC, man.
Ryan Reynolds is maybe perfect for Deadpool, but that means he's the exact opposite of Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan is not a prankster; he's very serious.
He wasn't a prankster or anything in the movie.
No,
He was just
to tell you the truth, if Ryan Reynolds played the Flash, it would have been a perfect casting. The Flash is kind of a goofball, wisecracker. It's not serious, and he's not responsible. He's always late.
Speaking of the Flash,
say as a joke in his origin, he was always late to work.
I saw that they got the one girl from that movie Dope
Love it.
is going to play Iris West. And I think it's interesting that they're following the vein of Flash, a TV show, by having Iris West be African American still.
It works.
And I think it's interesting because, you've had an African American Iris West for like 5 years now, and people are used to it. It's almost like Nick Fury.
Kid Flash is black on the show.
Yeah, Kid Flash is black, and it's and I know at certain times you have you. I don't know if the race swapping or gender swapping
We're just talking about
is
that.
always. I don't know if it's all. I don't know if they're doing it now just for that
Shock value.
To be provocative, or are they doing it because this is the don't forget, not matter actor or actress or black or white. This is the best person who did the best.
See, it's the cat. It's what I was going to say. Along with the screenplay, I think it's the casting director as well, because we were talking earlier about Kingpin being black.
Which one, the black one or the white one?
Well,
because when Michael Clark Duncan, he was kind of hamming it around, and I will say, Daredevil is a bad movie. Nobody came out looking good in Daredevil.
I like that movie.
Daredevil was not good.
It wasn't good, but I still
thought
liked
Michael
it.
Clark Duncan was a good choice.
Now, until you saw Vincent D'Onofrio's
He
Kingpin,
did it well.
I was like, this
That's Kingpin right there.
But it's two different eras, though.
It is, and two different ways of doing it. Where, like I said, Michael Clark are larger than life. Ha ha ha! I'm the Kingpin. And Vincent D'Onofrio played him more as a tortured soul kind of a kid who was beaten all the time.
So I mean, he had backstory, he had pathos. I mean, he was like a fully rounded character. Whereas
which one of those is more accurate to the books?
It depends. If you're talking about
Duncan.
Kingpin's own solo story, then you have to go with D'Onofrio. But if you're talking about Kingpin, like his first early appearances in Daredevil, I mean, whether it be black or white, you have to go with Michael Clark Duncan, because Kingpin is just a character. He was menacing towards Daredevil, Spider-Man. Anybody he ran across, he was a crush you. He was a fighter, you know what I mean? You couldn't let him lay your hands on
crush your head.
Yeah, he just he didn't care about nothing. He didn't get no sympathetic story with him, or he didn't get a chance for all that.
They did the Marvel graphic novel about his wife, and that generated a lot of sympathy.
But how long after that?
That was in the early 80s.
Like 86
That's
or 87.
20 years later after his first appearance.
What was that called, Frank? I know you have it.
The Daredevil Love and War. That one.
Yeah. Daredevil Love and War.
Yeah, the good pull.
Dang, Frank. You got your stuff.
A virtual encyclopedia.
Hey, Frank, right off the lid with it.
I'm telling you, man. Well, anyway, back to Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2, I gotta say, I don't like the character Deadpool. They're dead.
Yeah.
But I try to go in and watch
Open
the
mind.
movie for the movie. If it's a good movie, I saw the first Deadpool. I thought it was entertaining. It was funny.
There you go.
I watched the second Deadpool. It had its moments. It was still entertaining, but not quite as. Some of the jokes didn't come off as well as I think they hoped. It wasn't as good as.
For example, I agree, but for example, what do you say?
Well, it's
Do you have
like
anything in specific?
Well, you got the whole comment about when he had the little legs,
Baby
and
legs.
they just kept joking about it.
Okay,
I
now
didn't think the first next 7 puns out of every character in the snap was funny.
And where I'm going to disagree is was a bad scene, but when they stuck to it and they doubled down and then tripled down on it, I think that's what made it funny.
That rule.
And then when they went with the Basic Instinct stunt, and then they were like, "So you're just going to be out there shirt cock?" That just look. problem.
I'm laughing.
It's one of those things where a joke can be funny, and then the second, third, fourth time, all right, it's not funny now. But then around the fifth, sixth, seventh time, then now it's funny again.
Also earlier in the movie, there was a scene where it was a callback to a joke in the first movie when he tells Blind Al that there's 2 kilos of cocaine somewhere hidden in the apartment and the cure for blindness. And so after Vanessa, he goes through his thing and he goes back to Big Al's and he's all depressed. He goes to his hiding spot, gets the 2 bricks of cocaine, and there's the cure for blindness.
Written down.
Wow.
That's a joke just for him.
Yeah, exactly. Because she's blind. She's never going to get the joke.
But another pun that just kept running through the movie that I didn't think was funny at all was when Cable kills Black Tom and you're a racist. And he's doing it every 10 minutes or so through the entire movie.
Yep.
You get to the end of the
gotta
movie.
See the
it's like no, I don't. I see beating a dead horse.
And the
horse wasn't that funny to begin with.
You know why me and my brother kept laughing at that? Why? Because when we had our Marvel trivia game, that was the question that we lost. Because I said Black Jack and you guys said Black Tom. And when he came up in the movie, I was like, fucking the curse of Black Tom.
I actually did think of you guys.
Yeah.
I heard that. I said Black Tom, and then my cousin was there, and I leaned over and told him who he was. And then I was thinking about you guys.
Yeah, that was so funny because I was like, me and my brother, we were right to each other when he said he was Black Tom. We were like, the curse of Black Tom. We would have won that damn Marvel trivia game.
So both of them were in the movie, Black Tom and Juggernaut.
Yeah,
they were sidekicks.
Yeah.
They did that right.
Amazing Spider-Man 229, I want to say.
So if you guys haven't gathered, I haven't seen the movie yet.
We're spoiling the shit out of it.
I don't care. So I watched the spoilers and all that stuff before on YouTube. Okay. I watched the movie before I go see it.
Vader's Luke's father.
I know, right?
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it.
I don't trip on that.
What'd you say, Frank?
I said there was a lot of Marvel story crammed into Deadpool that I wasn't expecting, like X-Force, X-Factor, X-Terminators, all that stuff from that era, like Mutant Massacre era X-Men was kind of crammed in there.
Yeah, the Mojo-verse.
Out in 6
Mojo-verse, the nod to the Mojo-verse.
You know what that made me think of? Excalibur.
Exactly.
That was one of the first enemies they fought was from Mojo.
Oh my God!
Remember
Captain Britain? They said somebody wants to play Captain Britain. Who was it?
Ooh,
I just got that.
I just read. Damn it!
They asked me what story I'd like to see come to life on the silver screen next, and I said Mojoverse. I think they could do it easy.
I think Excalibur was good because you got Megan, you got Captain Britain, Nightcrawler. Who else was on that team?
Oh, I don't remember.
The Excalibur team?
Excalibur.
Oh, shoot. Oh, God.
All right, Frank, it's up to you. Who else was on Excalibur team?
They floated in and out. I think that was pretty much the original team. Wasn't Kitty Pryde in the first batch too?
Yes,
Kitty Pryde
and Lockheed. I thought I had it up on my wall up here.
Now
that's starting to get hot again. That comic sucked when it first came out. I like the art.
I liked it when it first came out.
That was Alan Davis.
I really enjoyed Excalibur.
I just couldn't dig Captain Britain.
It was very wordy.
Yes,
very wordy.
There was a lot. It was a weighty tone. It was a lot of. It was like all word bubbles and very little characters were like under the word bubbles.
Yeah, he was trying to write a novel in every 32 page or 25 page, whatever issue. There were some of those X-Men, like where the bubble was this much of the page.
That's why when we had an opportunity to talk to Chris Claremont, the only reason why we didn't, the line was ridiculously long.
Yeah,
but I really wanted to talk.
As long as he writes, is that it? Yeah.
Say it again.
He's the one.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's good.
But I felt like he really was the off there to my childhood, as corny as that is, because I was a diehard X-Men fan, and his words.
Yeah, those late 80s, early 90s.
That run and like because I know when I started reading X-Men, he already had a wealth of books, so I got back issues and I caught up.
Who was
to present
before
time.
Chris Claremont? Who was writing? Was that Cochrane?
Actually, they were
No, Carper was
reprinting.
Or was he drawing?
If you
No,
go,
Cochrane was drawing.
Yeah,
if
right.
you go
They
just
were
before
reprints
Giant
before.
Size 1, all of those X-Men for like the past 20 or so issues are all reprints.
Prince.
They're
Yeah.
not
Till
original.
94.
So there was no original writer before
Giant
Size 1,
Yeah.
at least not for a couple years.
Yeah, the last full story they did
Like
yesterday was
Stan Lee,
numbers.
like, pretty much.
So Stan Lee,
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
All right, there you go.
the original writer.
Yeah.
And you could have met Chris Claremont, huh?
Yeah, well, I can see him. I mean, he was right there, and I really wanted to go. And even Ron Lim really wanted to say something to him. John
I talked to Ron Lim.
John
talked to him. I wanted to say something because I had said before, like I still had like forever. He had drew a picture of the Silver Surfer and signed it, and it was like 1988. And I was like, fuck, if I had that in 2018, and be like, I just want this, give this to you so you can sign it like Rand. Wish I still had it. It was in my book. Ralphie's cousin lost it.
I had
don't
it,
wanna
and
talk
I
about
had it, and I forgot it.
That's why I'm trying to get that commission back from Pat, bro. Art Adams commission.
Oh,
Remember the
I'm
Art
after.
Adams
All right.
picture trade?
I'll let him know.
Nah, he ain't gonna give that up.
Probably not.
It's got my kinetic energy on
He
it.
used
still.
to have a like not a Polaroid, but a picture of Art Adams in his room.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's why I gave it to him, because he just needed it way more than I did. You ain't gonna give up, huh? I'm tired of hearing you talk about it. Here, let's trade.
What did you get out of the trade?
Oh shit, nothing worth that. That's for damn sure.
Oh man.
I just didn't realize what that was at that age. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
first of all, I asked him to draw. I didn't really care because I asked him to draw something. I'm like, can you draw Colossus doing this and this? And he looked at me like, kid, how about I just draw you a bust of Wolverine real quick?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then, you know, I liked it and I respected it, but it wasn't what I wanted. And I didn't really realize the value of, you know, that stuff.
I
we
kept
had
all my original.
we had talked about this on our show a couple weeks ago, but just recently, literally like a month ago, found out that Arthur Adams was from Vacaville.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
And he'll never come back here. Shame on you.
Well, I don't know. He could be
Look
in
up his
town
parents.
right now. I
Yeah,
don't
we
know.
would
You
know.
could probably
We
look
would
up his parents and see who they are.
Well,
Show them on the
Ron
door.
Lim lives in Sac. You know,
Rounding out the Deadpool one time, or just in closing on
My
this.
favorite character so far is Negasonic Teenage.
You liked that she went.
She went
they
full gay.
yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I respected that they had something for the youth now.
Hi Yugi. Hi Wade.
That was
I like that.
Yeah.
Lots of Easter eggs. We
Yeah.
did again. Harking back to the first one, he was complaining about how come there's no other X-Men ever here.
And they
And
said
then,
that was one of the
that was great.
best
Right?
moments in the movie. I
Um,
loved it.
and him checking Rob Liefeld yet again and
Yes.
saying an artist couldn't draw feet.
yeah, and
Yeah.
doesn't he make a reference to a comic?
and, well,
number?
Shatterstar again. Shatterstar when there's a scene where they're all going to the rescue. I don't want to spoil it because it's really
Yeah, it's funny.
it's
You got
funny,
to see it on the big
but-
screen.
how Shatterstar goes in. There's a part that you kind of don't see, but you see, and they reference because he can't draw feet. That's why you can't see
I
it.
told you it was like
That's right, Liefeld. He can't draw feet. Very skinny ankles.
But
How is
Thin
it supporting
feet.
their bodies?
How is it
sometimes
supporting their bodies?
him and J. Scott Campbell would.
And
Yeah.
my set.
Well, and J. Scott Campbell with the eyes. Why so big?
Man, what's wrong
It's
with
like anime. What are you doing? But I did like it. He did those Gen 13s. I loved them.
you? He just
Yeah,
he's
I
a
love
Michael
it.
Turner.
Huge.
He's a Michael Turner.
And
nod.
he's a breast man as well. You can
Oh,
tell
yeah,
Campbell is a
Fairchild.
breast man.
All out,
Oh,
chested,
yeah.
and always her
Yeah,
costume,
Danger
always
Girl.
ripped.
Him and Adam Hughes.
Yeah. Plubba-doom.
There you go.
Oh, in the top of the cab, there was an ad for Alpha Flight.
Oh goodness!
Damn it, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I didn't catch that either.
yeah,
Yeah.
on the top. I
have
was
to
pointing out
see
to
it
my
again.
brother. I said Alpha Flight, and he was like, oh, "Where?" And it was too late. He was like looking in the background. I was like, "No, on the cab."
Vindicator's coming, baby. He's coming. I've been telling you.
And there was also a nod to Mr. Sinister.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Essex Orphanage. Nathaniel Essex is
Oh,
Mr. Sinister.
yeah, I didn't catch all of it.
Yeah, he has a big backstory with Cyclops growing up.
Yeah.
He's
Well, yeah.
part of.
Well, he's the
Looking
reason.
like-
He's the reason why cable exists.
Yeah.
Because
That's crazy
he
story.
had Madeline Pryor. Nerd alert! He had Madeline Pryor, and that's how he got her
Madeline
to,
Pryor to what?
to become the
Goblin
Goblin Queen.
I got that.
And that's how Cable was born, because he was the baby.
Gotcha. All right, so I don't know, 157 million so far in the U.S.
Wow. Domestic,
Worldwide 324.
Yeah, and I think that's a very respectable haul, especially since they really only had a week, because this weekend, as we're airing this,
I'm going to see Solo tonight.
Yeah, Solo's dropping.
I heard
That's
that with Avengers. I don't know how true that was, but I read that yesterday. Deadpool beats out Avengers.
Oh, well, it took the number one spot
Okay.
from the Avengers, but the Avengers had already been out for 3 weeks.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So
I knew it was something like that.
And it was like one of those things. Yeah, we beat the Avengers, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, after we was tired of saying it 50 million times already. Okay, I got it.
Avengers got like 1.8 billion, 1.6 billion.
It's a hell of a year, and movies are making a lot of money so far. I mean,
it's
everybody who went to see Deadpool already saw the Avengers for sure. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. I was one. I'm gonna look. This is a great time to be alive. All my childhood heroes and characters are on the silver screen. I love it. When we were kids, we had Superman. Then we got really excited for Batman. At least the first two. Third one, not so much. Fourth one, definitely not. Fifth one,
I'll go to bat for 3.
Hey, I wish my dad was here, man. If he was still with us, he would be right there with us, because he was like, he got me into comics. He used to draw comics and all that stuff. So his main thing was is Silver Surfer. So if he had a chance to see, he'd still be stuck on the second Fantastic Four.
Oh, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer to fruition. That was his dude, man.
70 Spider-Man was my shit for a long time.
Yeah, that busy suit. It was actually, that's all we had. We had him and the guy from the electric company.
Yeah, that's it.
That was it for a long time.
I watched every day the electric company just to hope that Spidey would show up.
3-minute Spidey doesn't even talk.
And then he'll shot with Morgan Freeman.
But
who knew that was going to be Lucius Fox?
But you know what? When I watch the electric company, when they wait the kids, Spider-Man was always there.
Yeah.
Don't be upset with that.
I'm just so burned right now because I totally forgot. Spidey had his own segment in the electric company. Oh my God.
Superstore.
And he just said Spidey and Spidey with the little...
Spider-Man, where are you coming from, Spider-Man? Nobody knows who you are.
Okay, true believers, here he is, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Today's episode, Spidey meets the Spoiler. And let's hope our favorite web slinger hasn't also met his match. Ever alert, the legendary wall crawler is looking for something. And he's found it. A rubber glove sandwich. Hard to bite, difficult to chew, and impossible to swallow. No dogs allowed. Who would do anything so cruel? Spoil somebody's lunch by giving him a rubber glove sandwich, and spoil a dog's morning walk by not letting him near a hydrant. Spidey knows. Who else but the Spoiler?
That's right, kiddies. I'm the Spoiler.
He also likes to spoil cake.
And ice cream.
Who will put an end to this outrage? And so, the spoiler faces his greatest challenge.
It's always been my greatest ambition to spoil Spider-Man's day. I want to hear the world shout, the webhead is dead. Well, you...
Uh-oh. Is this the end of Spidey? No, web fans. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man stops the spoiler. Or does he?
Spider-Man, where are you coming from, Spider-Man? Nobody knows who you are.
And Spidey, well known for ending shows like the Muppet Babies. Remember the Silver Spider-Man that would come down on the logo at the end of Muppet Babies?
I don't remember. Oh, wow. Gosh, man. I'm old, y'all.
Spidey shit.
He does that. He was on his Spider-Man grind. Any little bits of Spider-Man he can get, he was on it.
Damn Skippy. Oh, man. Well, you know what? Let's
You want to swing to Ralphie D recommends?
swing to Ralphie D recommends. And this is what I got for you this week. Cobra Kai.
Sweep the leg.
Cobra Kai is a comedy drama web television series based on the Karate Kid film series created by Robert Mark Kamen that premiered on May 2nd, 2018 on YouTube Red. That's right, kids. You got to pay for it. The television series takes place
Unless you got
34
Fire Stick.
years after the original film and follows the reopening of the Cobra Kai Karate Dojo by Johnny Lawrence and the rekindling of his old rivalry with Daniel LaRusso. The series was created by John Hurwitz, Hayden Schlossberg, and Josh Heald and stars Ralph Macchio, Billy Zabka, both reprising their roles from the films. On May 10, 2018, it was announced that the series had been renewed for a second season and it will debut sometime in 2019. Have you watched?
Okay, I haven't watched it, but I do know a little bit of the premise, and I was actually shocked that Johnny's the good guy in this.
That's right.
And the Karate Kid is the asshole.
Frank, tell me your story. Tell me the thing that you wrote to me.
About like I can't believe in the first 5 minutes of this you expect us to root for that asshole Johnny, but then within about like 10 minutes later on you're like, yeah, Johnny, go beat those kids up and punch that fucker LaRusso in the face.
That's exactly how I felt. I mean, it captures a feeling and it makes you because I mean he's beaten down. You wanna root for him. He's an underdog right now. So.
Before the Cobra Kai came out years ago, I was watching. Well, actually, I watched it on Netflix, so it wasn't
How I Met Your Mother.
How I Met Your Mother, and there's that episode where Barney's character and they get him. They get fucking Johnny to be at his party, and it's like, and that was like the first time I seen. At that point, this is for me the first time I feel like I've seen that guy since the Karate Kid.
Yeah, I don't know what he's been doing, but he's got like showbiz parents, or his parents like work in the business, so he's always been around the business. Yeah.
He looks good, man.
And he still looks good.
He looks good, man. He looks like Ralph Macchio. I mean,
they both look good. They're both in their 50s.
A bit younger than Ralph Macchio.
And I know because I saw Ralph Macchio just came back last year on a show called The Deuce. He plays a vice cop.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, it's a good show about like
porn in the 70s.
Well, not really porn.
The start of porn in the 70s.
But this is a TV show. I thought it was a movie coming out.
No, it's a TV show on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a YouTube series.
So you can watch it on. I think you can watch the first two on YouTube for free, and then YouTube Red for the rest.
Oh, okay.
That's how they get you.
I heard about it. I saw a preview for it.
I thought it was a joke. Like when they were like Cobra Kai coming out, I'm like Cobra Kai.
I thought it was dope.
They did it as a Funny or Die sketch, and it was like haha, this would be funny. And so many people thought it was cool that they said, well, let's throw money at it and do it then, So it was a joke that became reality.
Oh, okay.
I guess
that's almost how Deadpool happened.
It is how Deadpool happened, really, because He pushed for that. Ryan
They
Reynolds. That's
made,
Ryan
they
Reynolds
made that
movie.
one little short. They kind of threw it out there like this is happening,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. And then they built up a
Following
fever pitch. People were like, "When is this coming out? When is this coming out?"
We need
That's
that.
right.
And then they put that scene and they reshot it and elongated it for the movie.
And all I want is people to start clamoring for the Retronerds movie.
I want to say one more thing.
I write names on my bullets.
Deadpool 2, he writes numbers on his bullets. Well,
Yeah.
but Deadpool 2, again, they went with the race switch with Domino.
Yeah.
And there were some people who really had a problem with
Off top.
with a black woman, very multicultural looking.
Because she had an
Playing-
afro.
Well, not just that, but you know, I
Nappy
like. But
afro.
you know what? When they explained it so good in the movie, because you know how Domino has that
The eye patch.
that eye patch. It's
Right.
the black. Well, she's a white woman with the black eye patch.
Yeah.
So she was a black woman. They had her with the vitiligo because she
Yeah.
had it on her eye and on her hands and stuff like that.
Mm.
So you're like, okay, so it actually
Isn't an eye patch.
it's not an eye. It made sense that you have. Is that what it's called?
Vitiligo, yeah.
Vitiligo.
Michael Jackson disease.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
I like little boys.
Or Sammy Sosa. Have you seen Sammy Sosa now?
Oh,
Holy
man.
crap.
It's crazy.
I think he
just
bleached
jumped-
his skin.
He bleached his skin.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
And his hair is like,
you think
like, are you kidding?
he bathes in bleach?
I was like, I couldn't believe it. They said this is Sammy Sosa. I said, get the fuck out of here. That ain't Sammy Sosa.
That's a big.
That's Sammy
He
Sosa's
looks-
agent.
He looks unrecognized. Like, I would not know
bad,
that
dude.
that was Sammy Sosa unless they were like, this is Sammy Sosa.
That's
He looked like my grandfather, actually.
it's an epidemic that a lot of Nigerians do to lighten their skin, and apparently, like a lot of Caribbean type,
Right.
to do that. They want to lighten their skin. Charlemagne from the Breakfast Club.
Well,
Yeah.
he had
No, bro.
but that-
No, bro. He wanted to.
he had that patchy skin. It wasn't quite real, but he had dark.
My cousins is like that. I'm not gonna bleach my skin over that. I'll hit
He
the
didn't
beach.
bleach. He
I'll hit
got,
beach.
he didn't get bleach. He got a once over. He just got shined up. He looked like
Like
Hella
Royal
glossy
Jermaine
now.
Jackson.
he's glossy now.
Glossy,
He's just
bro.
glossy.
Wow.
Well, I loved her in it. When it
She
comes
was
to the actors, actresses, they cast.
Yeah.
If they're perfect for it, cast them. I don't care what race they are.
Yeah.
I
That's right.
thought she was very
I thought she
good.
was
Josh Brolin was excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who else was excellent? Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Brad Pitt. He did a great job.
Where was he?
He was an X-Force. He was the Vanisher.
Yeah. That's
I had to get up and use the bathroom right in the middle.
So you missed his.
I saw him coming down in the parachute, but I
Yeah.
didn't see it was Brad Pitt.
Yeah, it was Brad Pitt. Also a nod to Matt Damon and Alan Tudyk.
Yeah. Both. They were in the future, I believe.
No, they were
Or
in the present. They
in the
were
present.
they were the rednecks
Driving the
that were
truck.
drinking on the back of
Driving
the
the
truck.
truck when he came.
Oh,
from the
yeah,
future.
yeah.
He goes, what year is it?
Real quick,
Yeah.
go ahead, Tom. What's the deal with Peter?
Oh, Peter shouldn't have been there. that's the deal with Peter. Peter
Yeah.
should not have been there.
Okay, so he looks like
He looks like how it is. He's
I don't have any superpowers, but it sounds really exciting.
What did he have?
That's the
Diabetes,
joke.
you said?
Disgusting diabetes.
You're in.
you're okay.
Now,
You're
for
imaginary.
for the people who did not stay through to the end credit scenes at all, they're going to be super confused when Deadpool 3 shows up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe. It depends on what they do.
Well, the intro to 3 could easily be a flashback to the those things. Like, here's what you missed, stupid. You know, I could see them doing that. But
Well,
On a,
you know what? We're on this second ending we're gonna do real quick. I'm gonna say I didn't know Josh Brolin was so short until
Yeah, he's not big like he is in the comics.
I know.
He's barely
Yeah.
5'11".
and that was a hilarious reference that
Yeah.
man.
I don't even
So
think
good.
he's 5'11".
Yeah,
He's like my height.
yeah.
Like
And then,
5'8",
you know what?
5'9".
And Ralphie was like, I didn't realize he was that short. And I was like, well, in Planet Terror, he was just standing there against
I had to
other
think
tall
back.
people,
That
and
was-
you're like, that's right, he was kind of
Yeah.
like.
It was 07. He had the weird goatee. He didn't
Yeah.
look all pasty.
And he kept taking off the pen of the hypodermic and spitting it in his ex-wife's face.
I just remember from No Country. He
Yeah.
wasn't a big dude.
Well, neither was the other guy,
Javier.
Javier.
Yeah, they're both
Antoine Sugar.
Yeah, I do have a problem.
A lot of small guys in Hollywood. They sit on apple boxes.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Jack Reacher.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson is sure.
He's a leprechaun.
Speaking of Mel Gibson, they fired the guy who's playing Martin Riggs on Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
And they're replacing him with Sean William Scott.
I thought that show got canceled.
So did I. And I said, not only did it not get canceled, but Stifler. And I don't know if he's playing Riggs. I don't know if he's playing Martin Riggs or he's just going to team up now with Damon Wayans is Roger Murtaugh because they got rid of the other guy.
Have him be Stifler.
Young Damon
go out and do MILF Hunter stuff, you know.
MILF Hunter.
Yeah.
Y'all talking about Damon Wayans Jr.
No, we're talking about Damon,
60-year-old
Damon Wayans. He's
Danny
too
Glover.
old for this shit. He's Danny Glover. He's old enough now to be Danny Glover.
But he doesn't look as old as Danny Glover.
Man, yeah, he's still looking young.
And speaking of his son, you talk about that.
Spitting image.
You cannot say that is not your kid. That looks exactly
and
like
they
him.
laugh the same. They look the same. They act the same.
They walk alike. They talk alike. They're both. Well, you know what? I'm Ralphie D, and that's news to me.
I'm Cool Water Kurt. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm Johnny Blaze. Once you pop, you can't stop.
I'm Aaron Michael. Be good to yourself and everybody else.
So for Frank G, Aaron Michael, Johnny Blaze, and Red, I am Cool Water Kurt saying always remember that if we're going to live together, we're going to have to be able to play together. The more colors, the more better. Peace and love must rule each and every time. Love knows no boundaries, and bullets have no name.
252.
I've done it. Pull yourself together.